A Blade So Black by L.L. McKinney. According to Angie Thomas, the New York Times #1 best-selling author of The Hate U Give, this is the fantasy book I've been waiting for my whole life. And she's right. Think of everything you know about Alice in Wonderland and flip it on its head. Because this isn't the Wonderland that you remember. "No!" Alice screamed. Her hands went to dim swords at her back. The Fiends had snapped up, their lips parted with fanged snarls. Zelan screamed at Alice to go back. She drew the swords free and gripped it in both hands so tight her knuckles popped. Heat suffused her arms, her hands, her fingers. Her pulse pounded like war drums in her limbs. Barking, the Fiends came near her, monsters charging in the night. She lifted the blade. The thrumming in her arms shot to her palms. Her hands burned, the sensation familiar from the ache when she killed the Fiend before. This time, the pain was excruciating, and she nearly lost her grip on her sword. The shock locked her fingers around the hilt, and her body leaped into action without her permission. "Begone!" Her voice rang like a stranger's in her ears as she twisted into a swing. Light erupted from her sword and sliced a clean arc into the air, like some sort of lethal crescent moon. It slammed into an approaching Fiend, sending it flying with a yowl. The other Fiend peeled off, stamping the ground as it circled her instead of attacking. Alice swung again and again, hurling blades of light at the monsters. They dodged and ducked, the arcs shooting off and vanishing into the night when they missed. Those that hit hammered their targets, flinging them to the ground. The beast withdrew, their howls fading as they ran. She gazed after them, her lungs drinking in gulps of air that raked her throat like shards of glass. Every muscle ached. Her body swayed like a sail in the battering breeze. Her fingers finally loosened their grip on the sword. It thudded to the ground, and pain radiated from her palms. She eyed the reddened skin, where it rose in clustered welts. Someone called her name. She wanted to answer, but her lips remained closed. The words trapped in her cotton mouth. Her knees knocked. Fatigue flooded her system, soaking her like a sponge. It pulled at her, hauling her towards the ground, and she hit the grass, knees first, sinking to it. What just happened? The sword? That light? Her head snapped up, and her eyes honed in on Zelan, who remained tilted against the tree. The surprise on her face equaled Alice's own, and something more. Something questioning. L.L. McKinney takes the worlds of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Alice in Wonderland and brings it to ours in the form of an 18-year-old Alice Kingston. Alice already deals with the usual struggles of being an African-American female in high school with close friends, possible romances, and a protective mother. Adding a whole nother life as a dream walker